Part 55. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 541. Millions of people were shocked. Is this true? Am I hallucinating? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed that someone could actually communicate with animals. Oh my God, I thought they were dead just now, but I didn't expect this dad to be so amazing. I'll give him a gift first. The style of the entire live broadcast changed again. Whether it was the audience who entered later or the original fans, this moment could only be described as true or false plus WTF. So, countless people began to swipe gifts spontaneously. The main reason was that the picture was too shocking. The deadly situation was resolved just like that. Who dared to believe it? Millions of people in the live broadcast room were dumbfounded. Li Xiaoan looked at the gifts flying all over the room with a dull face. Yes, flying all over the room. The live broadcast room, which was about to reach its peak in popularity, now topped the list because of the crazy swipe of gifts. Countless viewers took screenshots of this segment. The main reason was that they all felt that their words had no persuasiveness, and it was more reliable to speak directly with videos. When the major friends saw this clip for the first time, they were shocked and skeptical. What era is this? How could anyone still believe this kind of false propaganda? But as it spread, more and more people began to believe that it was true. There was no trace of any Photoshop or special effects. What else could it be except true? AI Shang Live. Manager Chu, our server is starting to get stuck. The number of people online is approaching the 2 million mark. What should we do? Everyone in AI Shang Live was stunned. Who would have thought that this live broadcast would explode? The wolf came out, which was full of explosive points. But no one expected that the man could actually communicate with the beast. This is simply an explosion on the shelf. Chu Liankong said, "You let the technicians maintain it, don't jump, I'll find Mr. Shen." Chu Liankong knew that he had made the right bet. The first time he went on stage, it was already an explosion. The popularity of their love of live broadcasting also skyrocketed unprecedentedly. I just don't know if Mr. Ling will regret it after knowing it. Of course, whether Mr. Ling regrets it or not has nothing to do with him. He took out his cell phone, took a deep breath, and then dialed Shen Yanking's number. It rang for only 5 seconds before being connected. "Hello, Mr. Shen, our server can't hold up anymore." Now the number of online viewers has reached the upper limit. Chu Liankong didn't say any nonsense and went straight to the point. I know. Shen Yanking stared at the live broadcast camera on the computer screen and said, "I will arrange someone to come as soon as possible. If it really collapses, then I can only give up first." Yes, Chu Liankong didn't ask why he gave up, but he knew that the leader must have his own considerations. Shen Yanking's sense of smell is very sharp. She smelled something wrong from the conversation between Li Chen and the wolf. This matter may involve many things. If the server really crashes because of the large number of people, it may not be a bad thing. At least, Mr. Li can be used to boldly deal with certain things. There was a lot of scolding from the outside world. Because no one expected that the live broadcast room of AI Shang Live was full. It's impossible to squeeze in. The technical side is dealing with it urgently. Even if we buy a server now, it's too late. The back mountain of Ljia village. After Li Chen treated the wounds of the 2 wolves, he wiped the blood on the grass and said, "Do you want to go out and hide for a while, or take me over to have a look?" The wolf leader glanced at Li Chen, then glanced at the cute Xiao Wu, sobbing. Li Chen also glanced at Li Biwu, and then waved to Li Biwu. Li Biwu ran over without fear, looking up at Li Chen. "It likes you very much, do you like it?" "Daodu," Li Biwu pointed at the wolf leader in front of him. "This is not Daodu, Daodu just looks like a wolf, this is a wolf," Li Chen explained. Oh, Li Biwu smiled, and under the terrified gaze of countless people in the live broadcast room, he stretched out his white and chubby hand and touched the head of the wolf leader. Its fur is so comfortable. Damn. I don't know whether I should complain or like Xiao Wu. In such a serious and tense atmosphere, are you serious about saying this, Xiao Wu? Everyone in the live broadcast room was almost scared to death. If the wolf leader had to deal with a little guy like Li Biwu, it would probably be a matter of one bite. Since you chose to take me, let's go and see it together. Li Chen smiled, picked up Li Biwu, and then put her on the back of the wolf leader. Xiao Wu was so scared that she immediately lay on the back of the wolf leader, hugged the wolf leader's neck with both hands, and shouted, "Ah, Daddy, I'm a little scared." Li Xiaoan couldn't help laughing for a while and was amused by Xiao Wu. If other children saw a wolf, they would not be scared to pee, but at least they would be too scared to speak. As a result, Xiao Wu became a comedian. She was not afraid of wolves, but she was afraid of falling. Don't wolves have face? Li Zioki, who was standing by, was even more stunned. To be honest, she still hadn't recovered from the shock. Everything before her eyes seemed like a dream. Bang! The sudden explosion scared Li Zioki and Li Xiaoan so much that they squatted down. The wolves' hair stood on end, and their eyes stared at the deeper mountains behind them. Li Zifeng and Li Donglong were rarely frightened, but looked behind them with sharp eyes. There were gunshots? Li Chen's face changed, and he said, "Take us there quickly." Bang bang dash. Another thunderous sound rang out. The people of Ljia village who were originally organizing to rescue Li Chen were also frightened and quickly lay on the ground. The range of the earth box gun is not far, but the damage at close range is off the charts. And the sound is extremely loud. What's going on? Why are there still gunshots? It's the sound of a hunting rifle. Someone is poaching. Li Wenda and others reacted, this is a big problem. Is there still someone poaching in the mountains? The faces of the people in Ljia village were extremely ugly. Call the police immediately. We can't go up the mountain. But Li Chen. Since Li Chen has dealt with it, we trust him. Otherwise, it will cause trouble for him. In addition, block all entrances and exits and strictly check whether anyone has sneaked into the mountains. The entire Ljia village moved. You go back first, Li Chen said. I don't recommend live broadcasting now. It's dangerous. Let's follow. The two of us can take care of the children, Li Zioki said. My live broadcast equipment is very good. The signal is still 3 bars. If the other party is really a gangster, they will not worry if you go alone. We live broadcast with our mobile phones, which will make the other party a little more afraid. Li Xiaoan also said immediately, yes, it's too dangerous for you to be alone. We came together, so we naturally have to go back together. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 542. Li Chen was stunned for a moment. If it were someone else, especially a girl, when frightened like this, most of them would retreat. But the sisters Li Zioki and Li Xiaoan were not only very courageous, but also very righteous. Even though they knew that this trip was dangerous, they still wanted to accompany him. Their starting point was not wrong. Even though they knew that Li Chen could communicate with animals, they still subconsciously regarded Li Chen as a slightly more powerful man. There were so many gunshots just now, it can be determined that it was definitely not one person, at least 3 people. If Li Chen really went alone, it would definitely be very dangerous. But there were quite a few people on their trip, including the children. There were a full 6. Even if the other party was crazy, they would be afraid of it. The live broadcast, which was originally a bit useless, became the key to recording the other party's criminal evidence. The live broadcast room was also noisy. Damn, if you go there at this time, aren't you courting death? Do you really think you can communicate with animals by chance? Leave professional matters to professionals, hurry down the mountain and contact the police, you are so stupid. It's really speechless, don't you know how much you weigh? If you go there at this time, you will be shot and you will take a few innocent people with you. Where is the IQ of this nanny? You guys are really enough, the nanny doesn't know how much he weighs? If you are not sure, why do you take the child with you? Even a tiger won't eat its own cubs, are you the only smart one? I hate those self-righteous people the most, you are the only smart one in the world, others are all idiots, these 5 wolves are not helping hand. Since the nanny can communicate with wolves, can't he communicate with other animals? You bunch of brainless fans, that's enough, is he your dad? Why are you defending him so much? Others are holding shotguns, understand? That's what the saying goes, sprayers, no matter how many animals you have, they will kill you all. I agree, this nanny is too selfish, I advise the anchor to take the children down the mountain quickly, he wants to be a hero, but he drags you into the water. Too much meddling, anchor, don't be stupid, it's not shameful to leave at this time, it's the right thing to seek professional power to solve the problem. Some supported them to go together, some disagreed, some said Li Chen was selfish, and some said Li Chen was meddling. Anyway, the whole live broadcast room exploded. Li Chen naturally sensed it, but he didn't say much. With his current god-level animal control skills, it is not difficult to control animals casually. What's more, even with children, he can protect them from harm. He was in the late stage of the heavenly man realm, and he was already at the top of the world. A mere earth box wanted to threaten him. Did he really think the heavenly man realm was shit? Even if a master stood here, he could wipe out these people with earth box guns. Li Chen ignored these giants on the internet, but said to a few wolves, if there is danger later, you will take them away, understand? All 5 wolves nodded, and Li Chen looked at Li Donglong and Li Zifeng and said, if there is really trouble later, follow your sister. Li Donglong did not refute, he knew that his sister was gentle in appearance, but her combat power was explosive. As for Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan, Li Chen did not make more arrangements. These 2 adults were very calm and would protect themselves. Let's go. Li Chen set off with people, but caused a storm. Weibo, Douyin, Moments, Taiba, and forums were all blown up. Everyone was discussing this matter, and Li Chen was the focus of controversy. iShang Live was also criticized because as more and more users poured in, the server could no longer bear it. There were freezes one after another. The official explanation attracted a lot of criticism. The main reason was that the incident attracted too much attention. Li Chen walked in front, heading down the hillside in front, which was very steep. So the speed of travel was not fast, and he might roll down if he was not careful. That was extremely dangerous. Li Chen held a hatchet in his hand, and he swung it out and cut off all the things blocking the front. That is, Li Chen walked fast and the picture in the live broadcast room was unstable, so no one saw it. Otherwise, it would cause heated discussions again. At the same time, people from China and even abroad rushed to Ljia village. The attention this time was unprecedentedly hot, and the heat was too high. They all wanted to come to Ljia village to fight against counterfeiting. Whether it was real or fake, as long as they participated, there would be heat. What's more, dog kings from all over the country have absolute confidence in their dogs. They just took advantage of this unprecedented heat to slap Li Chen in the face. The deeper they went into the mountains, the heavier the humidity. Some of the towering trees were thicker than a person's waist. And the deeper they went, the more obvious it was. The various thorns and bushes around them seriously blocked their progress. Thanks to Li Chen's help, their speed was not slow. Li Chen followed the bloodstains left by the wolf and successfully found the place where the accident happened. There were bullet holes on the surrounding tree trunks. There were many footprints around. Li Chen's consciousness spread and his face became more and more solemn. 8 people. Are they crazy? 8 people came to hunt, how many animals would they have to hunt? Even Li Zioqi and the others smelled the strong smell of blood. There are traces of blood in some places, which must be animals that have been killed. Li Biwu hugged the wolf leader's neck and said, "Dad, there seems to be movement ahead." The reason why Li Chen brought Xiao Wu here is also because of Xiao Wu's physical condition. As long as Xiao Wu doesn't leave him, her good luck will create many opportunities. Xiao Wu may not know this, but she can feel it in the dark. "You guys be careful, I'll explore the way first," Li Chen commanded the other 3 wolves, "separate, and send me any news immediately." The 3 wolves ran away in a flash, and the audience who saw the scene were immediately envious and amazed. The deeper they went, the more it looked like a primitive forest. Li Chen and his team chased all the way, and they could see more and more blood. Everyone in the live broadcast room was very angry. How many small animals did they have to hunt? Too abominable, these people are simply beasts. Killing innocent people indiscriminately, there are not many animals nowadays, and they are still hunting crazily, which is crazy. I support Li Dad, find them and send them to prison. In the live broadcast room, everyone criticized them verbally, with a rare unanimous attitude. Boom. 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 The ground was like an earthquake, and Li Zioqi and the others looked at the mountains and forests in front of them with pale faces. Bang, bang, bang. Intense gunshots rang out. Everyone was terrified when they heard it. What on earth did they encounter? Roar. When a shocking tiger roar came, Li Xiaoan, who was holding the camera, trembled and said, "Is that the sound of a tiger? Are they hunting tigers?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 543. Inside the live broadcast room. 2 million viewers were breathing rapidly, their eyes locked on the screen. Originally, everyone thought this was a simple, warm, and unique live show. Who would have thought that they would really encounter the plot in the story? Are there really people fighting tigers? This is the first time I've seen it. I feel it's too dangerous for the anchor to follow. The other side has guns. Do you really want to go? Withdraw. The audience in the live broadcast room shouted. Li Xiaoan naturally saw the bullet screen prompts in the live broadcast room. She was also a little hesitant. Before this, she hadn't heard the tiger's cry, so she was naturally confident. Now even the tiger has a little more miserable. She dare not imagine how cruel these people are. Tigers, a species that many people have never seen in their lives. If you miss it this time, you may not have another chance. Li Zioqi tightly grasped Li Biwu's little hand and comforted her in a trembling voice, "Don't be afraid." Li Biwu stared at Li Zioqi with his black eyes, staring at her cold little hands, and then nodded obediently. Li Chen continued to move forward, occasionally seeing blood dripping. It took them another quarter of an hour to finally see the figures of those people in a small valley. 8 people in total. Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan looked at each other, their faces turning extremely pale. 8 people, 6 guns, what to do? Li Zifeng and Li Donglong, the 2 siblings, squatted quietly on the ground, using these trees and bushes to perfectly cover their bodies. Li Chen focused on the 6 people in the distance. Those holding guns were all strong men at the Mingjin level. There was only one person at the Enjin level. This power is already very strong in the ordinary secular world. No wonder they dared to come here to hunt animals. Behind them, each of them carried a basket, which was full of things, and there was blood dripping from the bottom with a fishy smell. Oh my God, these people are really beasts. It's fine to hunt wild animals, but they hunt so many. Even the tiger is injured, do they want to kill the tiger too? Everyone in the live broadcast room was angry. This incident has also been widely spread and has attracted great attention. Li Chen's eyes fell on the tiger. The tiger is very huge, and there are scars left on its body. It seems that it has fought a lot. However, the tiger is now more seriously injured. This kind of earth box gun is almost unstoppable in close combat. Even if the tiger is swift, it may not be able to dodge. What's more, the 6 people are still Mingjin level strongmen, and their own strength and consciousness are not weak. If the 6 people put aside their weapons, they may not be able to do anything to the tiger. The tiger hid behind the trees and roared angrily and miserably. Gong Xiao stood aside, his eyes full of excitement and teasing. It seems that this tiger is not that powerful. He said with a hint of contempt and disdain, since you have had enough fun, then catch it alive. If you really can't catch it, then kill it. He decided the life and death of the tiger with a casual word. The tiger hiding behind the dense trunks of the big trees seemed to understand Gong Xiao's words, and there was a murderous intent in its tiger eyes. Roar! Li Chen understood that this was a warning from the tiger. If humans invade again, it will fight to the death. Take it down, Gong Xiao said with contempt, sneered, and gave an order. 6 Mingjin strongmen holding earth box guns immediately spread out and surrounded the tiger in a fan shape. Oh no, the big tiger is going to die. These 6 guns are pointed at the tiger, I can't think of how it can get away. Dad, didn't you say you wanted to save the tiger? Go and save it quickly. The people in the live broadcast room were extremely worried. Even the people outside were watching the scene nervously. The vast majority of people are kind-hearted. It is already miserable enough that animals are oppressed by humans and have no living environment. If they are hunted again, they will really be extinct. Stay here and don't move, Li Chen said to Li Zioqi and others. Who? The man standing next to Gong Xiao turned his head suddenly and shot the flying knife in his hand towards the direction where Li Chen was. The appearance of Li Chen caused this team hunting wild animals to stagnate for a while. They all looked over involuntarily. A flash of anger flashed in Li Chen's eyes. This dark power master used a killing move that killed people, and he didn't take human life seriously at all. If it was an ordinary person, he would definitely die. Ding! The flying knife was easily split by the hatchet in Li Chen's hand, and the young man took it seriously. Roar! At this moment, the tiger hiding behind the tree trunk moved out. The speed was as fast as thunder, and it was extremely fast. Be careful! Shoot! The 6 distracted Mingjin masters exclaimed immediately. Bang bang bang! Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were so shocked by their close contact with these people that their ears were buzzing. It was the first time they felt the power of the earth gun, and they didn't expect the sound to be so loud and huge. Li Biwu also covered his ears. Unfortunately, with one intentional and the other unintentional, these 6 Mingjin masters were destined to suffer. The tiger pounced, swung its claws, and the power was as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Even though this Mingjin warrior had the power to protect his body and the earth gun in his hand blocked the front, it was directly broken by the tiger's claw. Bang! The body of this Mingjin warrior flew backwards and hit the thick tree trunk in the distance. The trees were rustling. Puff! The Mingjin warrior spurted out a stream of blood, which showed how serious his injury was. The others missed and did not dare to shoot at each other because the radiation range of the earth gun was too wide. If the tiger did not kill them but killed their own people, it would be really embarrassing. Go! One of them roared, and now he could no longer suppress them with a gun, so he could only take action. They still had 5 people left, and they were confident that they could take down this injured bird of prey. The cold-blooded young man next to Gong Xiao looked at the young man holding a machete, but there was no momentum around him, as if he was facing a great enemy. Who are you? The cold-blooded young man asked, blocking Gong Xiao. Li Chen glanced at the tiger that was about to rush over and intend to fight the cold-blooded young man. "Don't worry, I will help you suppress these people. You should be careful," Li Chen said to the tiger. The tiger glanced at Li Chen with its sharp eyes, not understanding why it could understand what he said. But it could clearly sense that the other party had no hostility. In this case, it would focus on dealing with the 5 guys who injured it. The tiger is the king of the forest, there is no doubt about it. The scars left on its body all proved that it had experienced many life and death battles before. It is not difficult to deal with these 5 people. The cold-blooded young man next to Gong Xiao saw that Li Chen did not take his words seriously, and he was surprised and angry. Is this person really strong, or is he just bluffing? Who are you? If you dare to get close again, don't blame me for being rude. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 544. The stern young man did not dare to be careless and asked sternly. Li Chen pointed to the backpack behind them and said, "I'm here to find justice for them." When young Master Gong heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. "Did I hear you correctly? You actually want to find justice for a group of beasts?" I don't know if it was because of young Master Gong's words that stimulated this tiger. The tiger, whose combat effectiveness had declined, suddenly launched an extremely fierce offensive, forcing the 5 of them to retreat. After Li Chen heard what the young man said, he couldn't help but shook his head. He no longer even had the desire to talk to this group of people. Damn it, is Daddy so tough? The other party is obviously not easy to mess with. Nima, this is the first time I see a tiger so ferocious. Those 5 people feel like they are no match for me. Daddy walked over. Are you going to take action directly? Have you ever done this before? Li Chen walked towards young Master Gong and the stern young man. The stern young man frowned and said, "Seeking death." Li Chen grabbed the cold young man with one hand. Boom, boom, boom. The whole valley seemed to be shaking. The big tree that needed 2 people to hug was shaking violently. Wow! The leaves and branches shook constantly, causing vibrations like small earthquakes. What's going on? The stern young man pulled Gong Xiao back, almost losing his balance. Young Master Gong's expression also changed. Is this an earthquake? Ah! Li Zioqi and the others who were hiding in the grass behind were even more shocked. Xiao Wu, Li Donglong rushed over and hugged Li Biwu, who was knocked to the ground and still a little dizzy. Is it okay? It's okay, Li Biwu shook his little head and looked at the source of the vibration in the distance. Li Xiaoan and Li Zioqi were also flipped over and even their mobile phones used for live streaming were smashed into the grass. What the hell, what's going on? Is something serious going on? Damn it, what is this picture? Where is the anchor? In the live broadcast room, 2 million people watched. And as more and more people are pouring in, Aishang's live broadcast is becoming more and more laggy. The picture started out smooth and gradually became very unsmooth. On the Aishang live broadcast side, Chu Liangkong kept urging personnel to make arrangements, but now it was too late. The original server simply couldn't hold up. As a result, there were more and more scoldings. It was clear that something was going to happen during the live broadcast, but no one could watch it. Trash AI Shang. Damn, this is the most speechless live broadcast platform I have ever seen. Why is your traffic so small? Damn it, 2 million people are stuck. Are you trying to mess up? Add more servers. I just want to know where the anchor is. The screen is frozen. Angry curses ensued. Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan didn't even bother to pick up their phones because the rumbling sound was too scary. What is that? Li Donglong couldn't help but ask curiously. The stern young man pulled the young master back and retreated. At this time, even the tiger showed a strong look of fear. It also stopped attacking and began to retreat, hiding far away. As the king of beasts, he showed a look of fear. It can be seen how violent the coming people are. Those 5 Mingjin strong men all have varying degrees of disgrace on their bodies. Ouch! The 5 wolves also roared. Those beasts are not dead. Young Master Gong stared at the 5 wolves, then glanced at Li Chen. These wolves actually listened to this young man. Who is he? The 5 wolves were guarding Li Zifeng and the others, trembling all over. Young Master Gong and others were very puzzled. Previously, these wolves dared to fight to the death with them without showing any signs of cowardice. Why are you so afraid now? Ouch! The 5 wolves bit the trouser legs of Li Zioqi and others, signaling them to hide quickly. Although they knew that these 5 wolves would not hurt anyone, Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were still frightened. Li Biwu was very courageous. Wolf, don't be afraid, Daddy is here. I don't know if it was because of Xiao Wu's physical condition or because Li Chen was here, but after Xiao Wu finished speaking, these wolves really suppressed their fear. Could it be that, the wild boar king is here? Young Master Gong, who was blocked behind by the stern young man, said with excitement. His eyes seemed to be fiery. He had already seen the tiger and was quite disappointed. He didn't feel as powerful as the rumors said, and he didn't have the sense of accomplishment in hunting. It seems that the only one who can cause such a shaking effect is the rumored wild boar king. But, is this movement coming from a wild boar king or a group of wild boars? Young Master Gong, let's evacuate immediately, the stern young man said. Even the 6 Mingjin experts showed fear. Even a tiger can't handle it. If there is another wild boar king, wouldn't the whole army be wiped out? These people had actually wanted to evacuate for a long time. After all, they had killed enough animals. Even if you take it back, you won't suffer a loss. But it's obvious that the young master doesn't want to leave now. He doesn't think it's cool at all. Not manly enough. If you are a pure man, you have to hunt down the Tiger King and the Wild Boar King to be manly. Get ready. Young Master Gong looked at the seemingly dark area in front of him, his breathing became rapid, and his adrenal glands were also secreting crazily. The 6 Mingjin masters were all stunned. Do they still want to provoke the Wild Boar King at this time? It is said that the Wild Boar King has a thick skin. Our earthen guns may not really cause any real damage to the Wild Boar King. But since Gong Shao has said so, they can only adjust their breathing quickly and raise their earthen guns. Roar! The Tiger King roared and signaled Li Chen to evacuate. And it hid far away. Li Chen looked at Gong Shao and others and said, I advise you not to shoot. Boy, although I don't know who you are, but I also advise you that you'd better not interfere in what I do. Gong Shao's eyes swept over with a cold look, and with a touch of disdain, he said, you jumped around here just now, I don't care about your mistakes. If you dare to say one more word, I will never forgive you. Li Zifeng, who was hiding in the distance, couldn't help shaking his head after hearing this. Where did this idiot come from? Do you really think that you can protect him with just one dark power expert? That guy is not even as good as me, how can he talk to his father like that? Brother, what are you doing? Li Zifeng looked at Li Donglong standing in front of him. Protecting you, Li Donglong said with a righteous look on his face. You'd better hide behind, Li Zifeng said disdainfully, you are not even as good as me, what are you protecting? Li Donglong. Is this my real sister? Can't I protect people if I am not strong enough in combat? As the eldest brother, do I really have no dignity? Under the gaze of everyone, the vibration sound gradually approached. The big black pig rushing in the front was as tall as an adult, black all over, and exuded a faint fishy smell. The wild boars following closely behind were stronger than each other, and every time their hooves landed on the ground, it caused the surroundings to shake. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 545. Pig. Li Biwa raised her chubby little hand, pointed at a pig in the wild boar group, and shouted excitedly, "It's Hai-Hei." Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were confused, and quickly made a shushing gesture to let Xiao not speak. They thought Xiao was just curious about the big wild boar. Little did they know that Li Biwu recognized the big wild boar Lai, who always came to her house for food. Li Chen and Li Zifan naturally noticed it. After all, Lai-Hei's characteristics were still very obvious. But Lai-Hei's body, which was almost as tall as an adult, was really nothing in front of the big wild boars behind him. The black and yellow fangs were exposed, covered with marks, and it was obvious that he had fought a lot. This level of wild boar is no longer something that ordinary people can deal with. There are at least more than 20 wild boars in this group, and there are no smaller ones among them. If the small ones are counted, how terrifying would it be? Gong Xiao's eyes were fixed on the wild boar king, who was the tallest and most burly at the back. Very good, there really is a wild boar king. Gong Xiao's eyes were full of excitement and madness. Get ready. As Gong Xiao and his men gave the order, even Li Chen's eyes changed at this moment. Don't shoot. Gong Xiao heard the words, his eyes swept over sharply, and he casually took out a small earth gun, aimed at Li Chen and fired directly. Do you really think that what I say is fart? Bang. As soon as Gong Xiao finished speaking, he had already pulled the trigger. Li Chen's eyes completely turned cold, and this person successfully annoyed him. Even if it was just an earth gun, the power was not weak. As Gong Xiao fired the gun, the 6 people also pulled the trigger at the same time and shot at the tallest wild boar king. Bang 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 bang. 6 gunshots, like thunder. Li Zioqi hugged Li Biwu in his arms and covered his ears as much as possible. Li Xiaoan was so scared that she fell to the ground. The screen of the mobile phone that fell in the bushes was completely black, because the server of AI Shang Live was still overwhelmed. With 7 gunshots, Li Zioqi's live broadcast room was completely blown up. Did that group of people just shoot at the daddy? It feels like it. Damn, what is the origin of this group of people? So arrogant, they just shoot at a disagreement. Am I the only one who wants to know what will happen? I heard the rumbling sound, as if they said it was a group of wild boars. Oh my god, I bet you the big wild boars in the deep mountains and old forests, when they really grow up, they may be taller than adults. If a group of them comes, will the anchors still have a way to survive? Did anyone call the police over there? AI Shang Live, the server crashed. But even so, there are millions of people waiting online. Many people encountered this situation for the first time, which was thrilling and exciting at the same time. The Tiger King was seen, but no one knew what the Wild Boar King looked like. More importantly, were the anchor and the dad killed first? Or were they killed by the wild boars? Where are the people from AI Shang Live? Don't you know the maintenance? Damn, I'm really impressed. It can't even support 2 million people online. Where did your money go? Nima, the technicians really get paid for nothing. Deep in the mountains. Gunshots, pigs startled. When Lao He brought the wild boars over, he wanted to check the situation. Their wild boars and tigers have fought many times, and they have always kept to themselves. But now the tigers are running to their territory. Who can bear this? More importantly, they also heard the gunshots and smelled the strong smell of blood. How can a group of wild boars with a strong sense of territory allow people to be presumptuous here? So, all the adult wild boars in the herd went out. The Wild Boar King even participated in it personally. When Lao He in the herd saw Li Chen's family and was about to introduce the Wild Boar King to them, he didn't expect that group of humans would be so bold. They just shot at the Wild Boar King. The Wild Boar King had been through hundreds of battles. Although he weighed 800 to 900 kilograms, his reaction speed was extremely fast. The 6 earthen box guns were still too powerful, mainly because the coverage area was too wide. They were almost scattered. Although these wild boars had thick skin and flesh, a thick layer of mud-like substance condensed outside their bodies. But under this sudden attack, their defenses were still broken. So, the wild boars rioted instantly. Hit, Gong Xiao's eyes lit up. Seeing the smaller wild boars in pain, some even started bleeding, he roared excitedly, hit, aim at the wild boar king, if you can't kill it, kill these small ones first. This is a wild boar as tall as an adult. If he brings a few back, he will have the capital to brag in the future. Although he is not short of money, wild boars are rare now. If such a large wild boar is really sold, it will definitely be a sky-high price. It is said that wild boar meat is lean meat all over the body, with almost no fat, and the taste is excellent. Gong Xiao dared to be sure that if this wild boar weighing 500 to 600 kilograms was sold, it would be more than enough to sell at least 200 or 300 per kilogram. Of course, what he cares about is not money, but face. A whole wild boar is too rare. As for Li Chen, whom he had just aimed at, he had already ignored it. He didn't think it was possible for this man to survive under the gun. Even if he did, there was no need to worry, after all, there was a dark power expert beside him. Bang! All the steel balls were bounced off in front of Li Chen, and Li Chen was already a little angry. The wild boars roared angrily, and more than 20 wild boars almost entered a frenzy state, rushing towards the location where Gong Xiao and others were. Fight, Gong Xiao roared. The 6 bright power experts were terrified, but they were already scared out of their wits at this moment. These wild boars were like heavy tanks, rushing over with a strong stench and fishy wind. With their own strong defense and thick skin and flesh, they rushed forward at a very fast speed. The cold young man guarding Gong Xiao raised his eyebrows, grabbed Gong Xiao and retreated. You! Shut up if you don't want to die. The young man was rarely angry, disobeying Gong Xiao's order for the first time. Even he didn't dare to give such a stupid order. Damn, the wild boar king was completely enraged. Just relying on 6 earth box guns, it was a foolish dream to want to defeat the wild boar king. Bang bang bang. Run. These 6 Ming Jin masters, even if they are strong and the force of a punch is hundreds of pounds or thousands of pounds, dare not compete with monsters of this level. The wild boars are obviously angry. Even if they shoot, the damage caused is extremely limited. This is completely out of Li Chen's business. The 6 Ming Jin masters don't even have the opportunity to reload ammunition now. The guns in their hands have become weapons. But this can't do anything. 1 or 2 wild boars, they can still deal with. But this is more than 20. The wild boar king rushed towards Gong Xiao and the cold young man with great momentum. At this moment, Gong Xiao didn't realize that his side was at a disadvantage. Instead, he excitedly ordered, Leng Long, go and kill this beast. When the stern young man Leng Long heard this, he wanted to slap this idiot to death. Did your brain get stuck in the door when you were born? Can my mere dark energy deal with this thing? Do you really think this thing is a beast without wisdom? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 546. Li Chen immediately retreated to the side of Li Zifeng and others, and said to the 5 wolves, you go guard the exits around. The 5 wolves were relieved and breathed a sigh of relief, then ran away. They were scared when they saw these big wild boars. They were not in the advantage of numbers, and their fighting power was even worse. The power of the wild boar king in these rolling mountains is not comparable to that of humans. All the animals living here know this. The sisters Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were pale, and it was difficult for them to speak when they saw the wild boar that was taller than them. This live broadcast was simply a life and death race, too thrilling. Li Chen was also helpless. When he helped them up, he used his own cultivation to calm their restless mood. Li Biwu lay in Li Chen's arms, excited and said, "Is that Hai He?" "Yes," Li Chen smiled. "Do you know him?" Li Donglong said tremblingly. "It's true that the countryside is different. I came back the next day and I did something so exciting. This is much more fun than the capital. If I don't come out, I'm afraid I will never see these ferocious birds of prey in nature in my life." Ye Libiwu waved her hands excitedly and said, "Hai He often comes to our house to buy things, isn't it your sister?" Li Zifeng nodded and said, "This big sow wants to give one of her children to Xiaofei as a pet." Li Donglong's eyes lit up when he heard it. Raising a wild boar as a pet? Is it true? Isn't this too cool? Dad. Don't look at me, that's Lao Hei's voluntary. Li Chen saw the excitement in his eldest son's eyes and said, "If you want to raise wild boars, you have to see if these wild boars like you and are willing to give their children to you." Li Donglong pouted, "Am I not as good as Xiaofei?" Thinking of his younger brother raising wild boars that will grow up and walk out with wild boars of the same generation, he couldn't help but be amazed and envious. He can fool one of them, right? After all, I am the eldest brother. Ah, save me, save me. The Mingjin strongman who was attacked by the Tiger King before was in a miserable state at this moment. A collision with an adult wild boar broke all his ribs. Moreover, no one can stop a wild boar in a violent state. They charged and trampled the man to disability. The other few people were also attacked and retreated step by step. Kill. The 5 strong men vomited blood and there were blood holes on their bodies. These were all pierced by the wild boar's fangs. Now they can only make a final counterattack. After all, they are still ancient martial arts strong men, and their own strength is still a bit. But they never expected that this situation would occur this time. The man made a move, and it was as if thunder appeared on his palms, and he slapped the wild boar with both palms. While the wild boar was in pain, its body was also knocked away. With a loud bang, the bark of the tree was smashed, and even cracks appeared on the trunk. Seeing that the man was also silent, the remaining 4 people could only watch the wild boars attack them and others in a crushing manner. The forest was full of blood. Li Chen's beast control technique had been explored, and silently enveloped all the wild boars. The wild boar king who was fighting with Leng Long suddenly turned his head to look at Li Chen, and knocked Leng Long away with a head arch. Leng Long covered his heart, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. As for Gong Xiao on the side, he was completely dumbfounded. It was not until this moment that Gong Xiao realized that he seemed to have thought too much. Dark power is not an invincible strongman. If you haven't crossed the threshold of Grandmaster for a day, you are not considered a strong man in the world. Li Chen's god-level beast taming technique still worked, and the restless emotions of these wild boars were calmed down. They crippled these invaders, but Li Chen didn't want them to die now, as they would be useful later. Gong Xiao looked at this huge monster full of hostility standing in front of him, and his legs became weak with fear. You are still, what are you still looking at? Come and save me." He glanced at Li Chen and ordered with a trembling voice. The wild boar king glanced at Li Chen and slammed his head into the weak human in front of him. Gong Xiao's face was distorted, he screamed, and his body fell to the distance, and the whole person fainted. There were big bloody holes in his legs. Gong Xiao, who had never suffered in his life, how could he bear this kind of pain and torture? Just as Leng Long was about to stand up, he felt a fishy wind blowing in his face. Leng Long suddenly felt a breath of death approaching, and it was difficult for him to avoid it. He closed his eyes in despair. He knew that the wild boar king had become a spirit. He could feel that he was the strongest here and the wild boar king would not let him go. But just when Leng Long was extremely desperate and was waiting to die, he could feel the gusts of fishy wind blowing on his face, but he never felt that kind of pain. When he slowly opened his eyes, he was stunned. Isn't this the man from before? Lenglong's eyes changed, and his heart was full of bitterness. He teleported in front of him in an instant and blocked the wild boar king's attack. Just from this point, Lenglong had already judged that even if there were 10 of him, he would not be able to defeat this man. The wild boar king looked at Li Chen with a cold look. Lenglong didn't know that during this period, Li Chen had already fought with the wild boar king and started a conversation. Li Chen blocked the wild boar king's attack with one hand, and at the same time released his goodwill. "Human, do you really want to be an enemy of our tribe?" The wild boar king conveyed his meaning, because he often ate the vegetables brought back by Lao He. He also knew the existence of this human. "It's not that I want to be an enemy of you, and I have never thought of being an enemy of you." Li Chen shook his head and said, "I still have use for these people. Don't worry, there will be professionals to convict them." The wild boar king shook his head, indicating that he didn't believe it. It didn't think that humans would deal with humans. It had already taken its tribe to hide in the depths of the mountains, and this group of people came to hunt. It was already a situation of life and death between everyone. Even if it knew that all its tribesmen might not be the opponent of this man. But it would never surrender. "Please believe me," Li Chen said seriously, "I will create a new village below, and let the humans below start to try to accept you." Li Chen believes that this can be done. Humans and animals cannot coexist peacefully because humans look down on animals and never treat them with respect. And animals are also afraid of humans, always thinking that humans will kill them, although this is also true. But Li Chen wants to change the situation. Super Paradise is not just a simple place for children to play, it also has something worth thinking about. Harmonious coexistence between humans and nature, and humans respecting nature, this is what Li Chen wants to express. Humans will never accept us, and we will never enter the human domain again. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 547. "I believe I can change the situation," Li Chen said. "I will take these people away, and I will also treat you injured tribesmen." Li Chen's attitude was also very determined. No one can die in Jia village. It's not that he can't be killed, but millions of people in the live broadcast room have seen it. Not only those viewers, but also various anchors who have gone to Jia village, as well as dog-fighting challengers are watching. Of course these people can be killed, but if they are actually killed, the matter will become a big deal. When people die, the chance of peaceful coexistence between humans and animals is completely gone. If you don't die, there is still hope. More importantly, the power of the secular world cannot control people in the martial arts world. The martial arts world is under the unified jurisdiction of the inspection department. Once something happened in the video, it attracted a lot of attention. Even Li Chen couldn't suppress it. For the safety of human beings in the mortal world, relevant forces would inevitably be dispatched to catch all these ferocious animals. Even though ordinary human weapons can kill these wild boars and other creatures, the price paid must be high. If that happens, Ljiakan will be destroyed. Totally not worth it. Once the inspection department intervenes, Li Chen will inevitably take action, and the follow-up will only be more troublesome. Therefore, taking these disabled people back is the best choice. Li Chen looked at the wild boar king steadily, knowing that this human being had reached the point of dominating everything. If he is willing, all the clan members present will not be spared. The wild boar king took a few steps back, and the ground vibrated with every step he took. Lenglong's whole body was cold and he broke into a cold sweat. He just missed death. At the same time, I was filled with fear in my heart. This good-for-nothing young Master Gong had caused a huge disaster. If he offended such a powerful martial artist, let alone a lowly guy like him, even 10 Gong families wouldn't be enough to kill him. "Thank you, Senior, for saving your life." Lenglong sighed and cupped his fists at Li Chen to thank him. Li Chen waved his hand and said, "Did you hear what I just said?" "I heard it." Lenglong nodded. Then take the people down the mountain first, and remember to wait for me at the bottom of the mountain. Li Chen glanced over coldly. I will treat their injuries first to prevent them from getting worse, but if you run away. Lenglong felt as if the entire sky was about to collapse and said, Senior, don't worry, this junior will never dare to escape. He ran away thinking he was crazy. That will only drive yourself to a dead end. Li Chen nodded, looked at the rest of the pigs and said, I'll stabilize their injuries first, and then I'll check your injuries. The wild boar king looked at the extremely quiet pigs and knew that this man had done something. But as long as it doesn't harm the clansmen, it's okay. With Li Chen's current medical skills, although there was no way to recover temporarily, stabilizing the injury was not a problem. Old He, find me some herbs. Li Chen shouted to Lao He among the wild boars. Lao He immediately walked out with a squeak, and then looked at Xiao Wu. Daddy, Hai He and I are going. Li Biwu was caught off guard by Li Zioqi and ran over. At this time, Li Biwu looked like a little kid in front of Lao He, forming a sharp contrast. Li Zifeng also immediately jumped out, held Xiao Wu in hand, touched Lao He and said, Take us to find herbs. This. Li Donglong was dumbfounded, and he wanted to come too. But he was still a little scared. Li Zioqi. Li Xiaoan. What kind of monsters are this family? Li Chen appeared in front of the wild boar king in the blink of an eye, which already made them feel that the world was full of weirdness. Now, even two little girls can communicate with the giant wild boar. They only felt that this live broadcast had shattered their views. No one comes into this kind of mountain forest now, so there are naturally a lot of good things. Otherwise, Lao He wouldn't bring so much every time. When Xiao Wu and Xiao Feng came over with a lot of herbs, Li Chen didn't hide anything. Anyway, my abilities have been exposed, so let's save people first. He believed that Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan were not the kind of people who talked nonsense. Lenglong saw Li Chen refining the herbs with one hand, and he already knew in his heart that he was probably a big shot above the Grand Master. After Li Chen treated the injuries of these people, he cut down some trees and made a simple stretcher for Lenglong to carry back and forth several times. Those people at the Mingjin level can still move and rely on each other, so going down the mountain will not be a problem. As for the young Master Gong, he fainted and Li Chen didn't bother to wake him up, so he asked Lenglong and others to take him down. Li Zioqi looked at the two little girls, Xiao Wu and Xiao Feng, squatting in a group of wild boars and communicating with a group of wild boars with great interest. She really didn't know what to say. Li Xiaoan covered her eyes with both hands. She just wanted to say, I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything. This situation has gone beyond the understanding of a normal person. Li Chen smiled and didn't care about the attitudes of the two sisters. Instead, he shouted into the depths of the mountain forest, Tiger King, since we have met, why don't we come out and chat? At the same time, spiritual awareness began to spread. The eyes of the Tiger King hiding behind also flashed with spiritual light. This creature has surpassed the level of ordinary animals. The Tiger King hesitated for a long time, and finally walked out with blood stains on his body. Li Chen pointed at its body and said, Do you need me to help you take out the things? The Tiger King stared at Li Chen sternly, and Li Chen smiled and walked over on his own initiative. I don't know if it was because his old rival, the Wild Boar King, didn't move, but the Tiger King finally chose not to move, allowing Li Chen to take out the steel balls from its body, and finally applied ointment to it. The Tiger King and the Wild Boar King stood on the left and right, both still very hostile to each other. Li Chen said, I originally wanted to come and see you too, but I never had time. Now that I have met them all, I want to discuss it with the two kings. Li Chen stood between the two and said, That's my doll. He likes animals very much. My home is under the mountain, and you should be able to see it. What I want to do is to first build my home into a big paradise. Well, it's the kind that is very big and covers the whole village. Then I will gradually transform this mountain in the future. I hope that by then you will all be able to go there freely. Down the mountain, the same goes for humans. The Tiger King and the Wild Boar King remained silent, feeling that the powerful human being in front of them was wishful thinking. Don't be like this, I think it's very interesting. Really, many children actually like your animals, Li Chen said. If you agree, I can provide you with delicious food. I believe the people in our village will do the same. How do you think about it? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 548. Just as humans do not believe that these animals can hurt people, the Tiger King and the Wild Boar King do not believe that humans will not be hostile to them. This is a natural chasm between the two sides, which is inevitable. Li Chen also knew that it was still too difficult for them to accept it with just a few words. However, he can change the situation. In this way, the next transformation will take a long time anyway. Lao He often goes to our house, and everyone in the village is familiar with it. Li Chen pointed to the big wild boar that was with Xiao Wu and Xiao Feng and said, if you're worried, you can let other animals go to my house first. In the future, when everyone is familiar with it, you can go up and down the mountain freely. I will also publicize it to ensure that nothing like today will happen. How about it? The Wild Boar King groaned. Compared to the Tiger King's vigilance and suspicion, the Wild Boar King's reaction was not very strong. After all, Lao He and Li Chen's family have been in contact for a long time, and they also know that Lao He has been seen every time, but nothing happened. Although the man in front of me is a little whimsical, he can still be believed. As the Wild Boar King began to agree, the Tiger King nodded his head after hesitating for a long time. Very good. Li Chen gently put his hand on their heads, used the beast control technique, and quietly entered their minds. This is my breath. Remember, I will arrange the next thing. You can come down the mountain whenever you want. The two beast kings did not object. Although Li Chen believed in them, he still made preparations. If these beasts are really not hostile to humans, but humans occasionally have idiots like Mr. Gong just now, then something could easily happen. Under this situation, Li Chen still hoped that he could control the Wild Boar King and Tiger King. Then you go back first. Li Chen waved his hand and did not ask where the two kings lived. There are so many mountains and hills here, there are so many places to hide. Old He. Lao He immediately came over and kissed Li Chen very intimately. My youngest son? My youngest son is still outside and will come back after a while. Li Chen smiled and said, this is my eldest son, what do you think? Lao He looked at Li Donglong, whose eyes were getting brighter, and then shook his head. Li Donglong asked curiously, Dad, why is it chattering? It says you don't look good. Li Donglong's face suddenly turned dark. Who does this black pig look down on? What it means is, am I not as good looking as my younger brother? When Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan heard this, they wanted to laugh but didn't dare. They didn't know if Li Chen was trying to squeeze his son or if he was really translating seriously. But judging from the reaction of the big wild boar, it seems that he really looks down on Li Donglong. Just then, the Wild Boar King came over. His eyes fell on Xiao Wu, looking at Xiao Wu with tender eyes. Pig, Li Bu stood up, stretched out his chubby hand and touched the Wild Boar King. The Boar King seemed to be enjoying himself. Li Donglong. He felt a little redundant. Even Xiao Wu is so popular. Roar. Li Chen and others turned around and saw that the Tiger King did not leave, but came back. His eyes fell on Li Donglong, and he opened his mouth and roared. The depressed Li Donglong glanced at Tiger King and then looked at Li Chen. Li Chen looked at the Tiger King with a flash of surprise in his eyes, pointed at Li Donglong and said, you want to find my son? When Li Donglong heard this, he immediately became energetic. What do you mean? Li Donglong asked. Li Chen looked at the Tiger King, and the wild boar king and others also looked at the tiger king. This group of raptors all have intelligence that is definitely not comparable to ordinary animals. Li Chen stared at the tiger king for a long time, and then said, "Okay, we will wait for you here." Li Zioqi, Li Donglong, and others all looked at Li Chen with curious faces. The tiger king came and went? What does this mean? Li Chen smiled and said, "You've got a good harvest, let's wait a moment." "Dad, just tell me, what did the Tiger King say?" Li Zifeng said coquettishly, holding Li Chen's hand. Xiao Wu and Li Xiaoan on the side also had curiosity on their faces. Li Chen saw the eyes of several people eager to know the answer, so he smiled and said, "The Tiger King also has a tiger baby, and he wants to give it to Xiao Long to raise." "Ah!" Li Zifeng suddenly screamed, "What about me? What about me?" When Li Donglong heard this, he immediately beamed and couldn't help laughing. "Dad, are you the one you are blabbering about?" Li Donglong jumped up excitedly. "Will I, Li Donglong, also have a pet tiger? That's the king of the forest. Xiao Fei raised a little wild boar, and I raised a little tiger. I won." Li Donglong smiled proudly. "I see you are happy," Li Chen said, "but if you want to raise a tiger cub, you have to be prepared. This little guy is also very edible." "It doesn't matter," Li Donglong immediately patted his chest and assured, "I will use my own money to raise it." Li Donglong was very excited and happy about the fact that he was about to raise a tiger. In a place like the capital, he must be a mature and qualified heir, and he must always remain serious. But here he doesn't need to be like that, he's just a 9-year-old kid. Soon, the Tiger King came. "I brought not one cub, but 2 cubs." Li Chen was stunned immediately. Two. The Tiger King put the 2 little tigers on the ground, nodded his head and prepared to leave. "Aren't you afraid that your children will die?" Li Chen felt that the Tiger King was also very careless. The Tiger King glanced at Li Chen with a hint of contempt, as if to say, "What's so scary about me? If you really kill my children, I won't believe you. Of course, there must be revenge." "Wow, little brain axe." Li Biwu's eyes immediately turned to the 2 tiger cubs on the ground. "Awoo!" The 2 little tigers were frightened by Li Biwu and huddled together. Li Donglong hurriedly stepped forward and pulled the stupid sister back. "Xiao, don't scare them." "I don't." Li Biwu licked his lips and leaned forward and said, "Can I also raise a little brain axe?" "No." Li Donglong immediately looked at the stupid sister with great vigilance, and quickly picked up the 2 cubs, hugging them tightly in the envious eyes of Li Zifeng and Li Biwu. Li Chen was also at a loss whether to laugh or cry. "Awoo!" Just then, the 5 wolves came with several other wolves. Obviously, that was the real Wolf King. It was much bigger than the average wolf, and his eyes were sharp. Even though there were Tiger Kings and Wild Boar Kings here, this Wolf King was not afraid at all. Behind the Wolf King, there was a mother wolf, holding a wolf cub in its mouth, which looked like a newborn puppy. The Wolf King put the wolf cub on the ground and looked at Li Chen again. Li Chen was speechless. What happened? Has his home become an animal nursery? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 549. Wu. The weak little wolf made a trembling voice. Although the little guy is young, he should also feel that he is likely to leave his parents. When Li Zifeng saw this soft little guy, she immediately fell in love with him. "Can I hold him?" Li Zifeng asked, staring at the Wolf King. The Wolf King nodded very humanely, and Li Zifeng immediately squatted next to the little wolf. Ouch! The ferocious little wolf was still very weak. When he saw Li Zifeng approaching, he was instinctively afraid and wanted to dodge. but how could his fleshy short legs outrun Li Zifeng, and he was easily picked up by Li Zifeng. Li Zifeng gently held the little wolf in her arms, and the little wolf opened its small mouth and bit Li Zifeng's finger. When Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan both exclaimed, Li Zifeng chuckled, "It's so itchy." Anyone who has raised a puppy will know that when a puppy bites someone at a very young age, it is no different than a gentle massage. Soft and a little itchy. Although the little wolf's teeth are much sharper, they don't have much strength because they are too young. When the Wolf King saw that Li Zifeng was very fond of his cub, the coldness in his eyes turned into a touch of tenderness. Human beings can still sense whether they are hostile to them. Li Zioqi and her sister Li Xiaoan looked at each other, trembling a little and not daring to move. Not to mention the wolves around here, if ordinary people encountered such a large group of wolves, they would definitely be doomed. Not to mention a king tiger and a herd of wild boars. If a person with a normal physique like this meets him, he will really die. That is, they dared to go deep into the hinterland this time, so they were able to encounter him. As the scope of human activities continues to expand, the territory of wild animals is also constantly shrinking. That kind of situation where humans and animals live in the same area and do not invade each other is no longer seen today. Even if there are, the animals are kept in captivity. This is not what Li Chen wants. The wild boar king and the tiger king looked at each other, one growled and the other growled. Anyway, Li Zioqi and Li Xiaoan looked at it with fear, fearing that the two guys would fight. Li Donglong was holding the two little tiger cubs so much that he couldn't put them down and didn't notice them at all. Li Zifeng was not much better. Only Li Bu was stared around with big round eyes, wandering around the wild boar king and tiger king. The little eyes are full of joy. Strangely enough, both the wild boar king and the tiger king seemed very satisfied with Xiao Wu and were willing to let Xiao Wu play with them. Daddy Li Bu raised his little head and touched the thick legs of the wild boar king and said, "Is Piggy squawking?" Li Chen smiled and said, "They are asking me, can they really enter the human world and live without being disturbed? Do you respect me?" Li Bu's eyes widened and he turned to look at the black body of the wild boar king and said, "Zuzu, we won't chase you away. You can come and play with me in the future." The wild boar king lowered his head. His head was almost bigger than Li Bu's. It nuzzled Li Bu gently, seeming to agree. "Brain axe, you can come too." Li Bu looked like he was inviting others to be his guests, which made Li Chen laugh a little. This little girl is really a social expert. Tiger King also showed a touch of tenderness. "Okay, let's go back." Li Chen smiled and picked up Xiao Wu. "My mobile phone." Li Xiaoan realized that her mobile phone had been lost a long time ago. Li Chen pointed to the bushes and said, "Look there." Li Xiaoan hurriedly ran over and picked up the phone, but the screen was broken and the live broadcast room crashed. Li Xiaoan picked it up with some pity and said, "It's broken." "It's okay, buy a new one," Li Zioqi comforted. Anyway, the purpose of today's live broadcast was achieved. It doesn't matter even if we really lose to Ling Fei. What she cared more about was what she saw and heard today. It wasn't until this moment that she realized that there was an unknown side to this world. After seeing something, your state of mind and horizons will broaden. If we look at the trivial matters of the previous live broadcast company, they are naturally not worth mentioning. Li Chen and a few people were preparing to go down the mountain. Li Xiaoan put away the old mobile phone and took out a spare one. "Eh? What's going on? Has our server crashed?" Li Xiaoan shook her phone and opened the work group again. When it was opened, the work group exploded instantly. Li Xiaoan was dumbfounded. What's wrong?" Li Zioqi turned around and asked. Our server crashed," Li Xiaoan said dully. "Don't talk nonsense." Li Zioqi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. With the size of our platform, how can the server crash? Regardless of the ridiculously high popularity and data of each platform, in fact most of them are fake. Don't you know? No. You want to say that our live broadcast room has reached 2 million or more people, and then the server was crowded. Lee Zioki was in a good mood, touched her sister's head and said, although this is possible, it is definitely not, it will be me. Lee Ziaoan was also told by her sister that she was a little unconfident. Didn't she really collapse because of too many people? A certain village. Ah! Ling Fei was so angry that she roared madly. The assistant and the other actors were silent. Hit, totally hit. Why is this happening? Ling Fei was about to explode. Why did she do that? No one said anything, and those who were originally dissatisfied with Ling Fei all showed a scornful smile. Why were you beaten by Lee Zioki? Don't you know what's going on? Who do you think you are? No matter how popular you are, it was Lee Zioki who made you popular. Not only are you ungrateful, but you are also ungrateful. Do you really think God is blind? This time the server crashed because of Lee Zioki's live broadcast room, which shows how overwhelming the data is. This is a height that you, Ling Fei, will never be able to surpass. Lee Zioki naturally didn't know that Ling Fei was crazy and angry. Love live broadcast. Chu Liangkong stared at the group of people in front of him, and the new executives of the company in the region stood nervously by the side. Where are the people who contacted Lee Zioki? Haven't they contacted yet? Chu Liangkong asked. I haven't contacted him yet, and Li Ziaoan hasn't replied. Then keep in touch, tell him that we are replacing the new server, and it will be ready soon, and hold on for a while. Chu Liangkong said, if there is any content that cannot be broadcast, please inform us in advance. If there is no problem, this live broadcast must continue. It is a great opportunity and benefit for both her and the company. Yes. Chu Liangkang's eyes are firm. He wants to stand out more than the others. In the past, it was the world of Ling Jinyan and others, and they naturally had no chance to stand out, but now it won't be. The person who is in charge of the company has changed, and they have also moved up. If Lee Zioki can be promoted to a new height this time, she will definitely be liked by the higher UPS. Perhaps the other party is rich and powerful and doesn't look down on this small profit, but as a staff member, you can't think like that. Chu Liangkong wants to become bigger and stronger, and attract enough attention from the higher UPS, so that the development of AI Shang Live will not be constrained in the future. It is even unknown whether it will become one of the best platforms in the country. Soon, the servers have been installed. Start debugging immediately and issue the latest notification to inform all viewers that they will be able to enter the live broadcast room soon, Chu Liangkong ordered. The upper limit of the number of online users this time is 8 million, so it won't crash, right? In the future, the possibility of crashing should not be great. Chu Liangkong thought so and felt much more balanced. Ljia village. Li Ziaoan looked at the ding-dong sound coming from her phone and took out her phone. Sister, there was news from the company that our server crashed. Li Zioki took the phone and looked at it, and was stunned. The number of people exceeded 2 million. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 550. Look, I've said it's because of us that the company's server crashed, Li Ziaoan said with a smug smile. Then Ling Fei probably can't beat us. Li Chen, who was standing by, just smiled when he heard this. He didn't think that Ling Fei would be Li Zioki's opponent. There are still 15 minutes before the broadcast, Li Zioki said. Since it's the last live broadcast, let's do it according to their requirements. Okay, Li Ziaoan said. Until now, they didn't know that the company had changed people. Those work accounts belong to the company and can't be taken away. iShang Live Broadcast Platform. This broken live broadcast company is really not good. It crashed at the critical moment. I just want to know whether Neba and the others are dead. What happened to those crazy people? What was the violent vibration before? A group of wild boars? It's a pity that I can't see it. Dog Ai Shang, when can you fix it? Many netizens were angry. If it weren't for Li Zioqi and Neba's family, they wouldn't watch it on this garbage platform. Everyone, there are only 5 minutes left for debugging, and it will be restored soon. I'll trust you for the last time. Dare to deceive us and let your server crash all the time. Soon, the server of AI Shang Live was debugged. Finally, I can enter. Damn, although this live company has some problems, the speed of emergency repair is still quite fast. I feel that even the picture quality is much clearer this time. It seems that a lot of money has been spent. It feels okay this time, it shouldn't crash, right? A large group of people poured into Li Zioqi's live broadcast room, because it crashed before and forced to download. So, now Li Zioqi is still in a state of not broadcasting. But the number of people in the live broadcast room is rising. 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. Sister Fifei, the emergency repair is done, and it can be broadcast. Ling Fifei said angrily, no more broadcasting. Go and see Li Zioqi's live broadcast room. The others didn't dare to speak. After all, Ling Fifei's status was higher than Li Zioqi before. But now, it's hard to say. Seeing the assistant click into Li Zioqi's live broadcast room, Ling Fifei's pupils shrank suddenly. The number of online viewers has exceeded 2.5 million, and this data is still increasing wildly. What the hell is this? Ling Fifei and others looked at each other and were shocked. Isn't the upper limit of the server of AI Shang Live only 2 million? Could it be that the company replaced a larger server for this live broadcast? It's for Li Zioqi. Thinking of this, Ling Fifei was not feeling well. Why is this? What virtue does Li Zioqi have? Thanks to the super unmatched wolf for sending 10 rockets, 10,001 Duyan coins. Thanks to the panicked Yappy for sending 100 pearls in the palm. Thanks to the 3 dream castles, 28,888 Duyan coins, from Feng's Honggaya Palang. There was silence all around. Even the staff who followed were envious. The gifts in the live broadcast room were simply dazzling. These wealthy guys, any gift they give out is better than the rich people in Ling Fifei's live broadcast room. Ling Fifei was so angry that she smashed her phone. Bitch, bitch. Sister Fifei, this is my phone, Xiao Lu on the side couldn't help but said. Ling Fifei, who was angry, looked at her fiercely and said coldly, what's wrong with your phone? Don't forget, you all rely on me to make a living. Isn't it just smashing your phone? In the past, how dare these poor and inferior people talk to her like this? Ling Fifei was very dissatisfied. What? You are all unhappy, right? If you are unhappy, get out. If you leave me, I want to see how much money you can make. Ling Fifei looked disdainful. They are all garbage that don't know their own position. You rely on me. Xiao Lu looked ugly and said, we do serve you, but it is the company that pays the salary, not you. Bang. As soon as Xiao Lu finished speaking, Ling Fifei slapped him. Without me, can you get so much commission? Without me, can you get along so well among these staff members? If you are a dog, you must be aware of being a dog. Don't forget your identity. Everyone around looked at Ling Fifei angrily. Xiao Lu covered his mouth and suddenly slapped her with his backhand. With a snap, Ling Fifei's face was slapped crooked. Xiao Lu spat out a mouthful of blood. This bitch really hurt. Everyone was stunned. Looking at Xiao Lu in disbelief. Ling Fifei was also dumbfounded. She had never thought that someone would dare to fight with her. You dare to hit me? Snap. Xiao Lu slapped her again and slapped Ling Fifei to the ground. There was an uproar all around. You're doomed. When I return to the company this time, I will report your negligence to them. I will make you leave the company and ban you from this industry. Ling Fei covered her cheeks and said, and you, every one of you will be unemployed. At this time, their mobile phones also rang. Everyone picked up their phones and looked at them, and their faces suddenly became interesting. Xiao Lu took a look and smiled immediately. Let us get out. Xiao Lu grabbed Ling Fei's hair, causing her to scream in pain and punch and kick. I'm sorry, the company just released the latest internal news. Ling Fei, you have been banned. Not only that, there are several lawsuits waiting for you. Ling Fei looked dazed, full of disbelief. I've been annoyed with this woman for a long time. Damn, she's really pretending, she's dead this time. I don't even want to kick her. Go back to the company. Xiao Lu ruthlessly threw Ling Fei to the ground. Ling Fei grabbed the assistant's phone in panic until she saw the news in the group. Her face turned pale. No. Why is this? Ling Fei cried loudly, why is this happening? The company sued her in various names, and the key is that the evidence is conclusive, because those bad things were left over from the past. Not only that, she can't terminate the contract, and she will be banned for the rest of the time. At the same time, she also bears a huge compensation debt. If she terminates the contract, the liquidated damages will be something she can't pay back in her lifetime. Ling Fei called Ling Jinyan in a panic, hoping to get his help. But Ling Jinyan didn't even answer. Ling Fei knew at this moment that her life was over. At this moment, in the forest, Li Chen exuded a faint kindness, and at the same time, he was also sending a message to the animals in the forest. He was preparing for the next step. It would be best to control all the animals around. After all, it would not be easy to lose control, and Li Chen would not deliberately let these animals do anything. Li Xiaoan fiddled with it for a while, but couldn't help but get scared when she entered the live broadcast room. So many people. Where? Li Biwu looked around. Stupid, Sister Xiaoan is talking about the live broadcast room. Li Zifeng usually disliked her sister. You are stupid. Li Biwu was not convinced, snorted and put his cheek against Li Chen and said, Daddy, Xiao is not stupid. Yes, our Xiao is the best. Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This little girl always forces herself to praise her. Li Zifeng couldn't help rolling her eyes when she saw this. At this time, the number of people in the live broadcast room had reached 3.67 million, unprecedentedly terrifying. Dad, that's a rabbit. Li Biwu pointed to the bushes in the distance and said. Damn, where's the Tiger King? Where's the wild boar? Where's the criminal who hunted the animals? Finally I can watch it. I saw the cute Xiao Wu at first sight. I like her so much. Daddy and the others are not injured at all? What happened before? As Li Xiaoan opened the live broadcast, the number of online viewers in the live broadcast room continued to rise. This speed is unprecedented. Almost in the blink of an eye, it reached 4 million. Just the gifts that are brushed out every minute are tens of thousands. Li Zioqi entered the camera, pointed to the bushes in the distance and said, there was a little accident, but it has been resolved. I'm glad the anchor is okay. You said the dad was impulsive and stupid before, you got slapped in the face, right? I told you, the dad would never take risks with his children. Hey, why do I see something strange? Is that a little tiger? Oh my god, it really is, and, is it a wolf or a dog? Damn, did the anchor rob the animals' nests? There's also a little black pig. Oh my god, why do I feel like I missed a lot?